I wonder if this thing is on. Usually when I'm late, people also don't join like immediately because, it's irregular. Also these streams don't get like the most retention. And so, you know, they're like kind of set up to not do super well, or be super engaging for the average person. Um, which sucks. But whatever, right? Um, I definitely remembered to set it to public, right? Not tweaking. It is awesome. No, I just had one of those moments. You ever have one of those moments? So the blue fiery Spartan. Welcome to the stream. Where you're just kind of talking to no one for a couple of minutes. Sometimes it's how it is. I have arrived to observe. Hello, Kirby Zaz. I have a feeling it's not going to be many people. Kind of started the stream late. It's going to be a little lower energy, and these streams are already low energy. Hi, Wispy. Welcome to the stream. Oh my god, I'm dying. Okay. Sorry, I was stretching while I was saying that. Boy, do I wish I could speak English. Please like the stream if you're here, even if it's like out of pity. I'll take it. I, I'm. I look. I know I can sound quite pessimistic at times, but like it's for what I believe to be good reason. Sitting here in the cockpit, looking at the line go up and down and all that. I can concur that these streams in particular are kind of more of a snoozer than like when I'm just fucking around talking to chat. But whatever. I'll still do it to fulfill the thing. And then, next week streams will be like normal. Been a while, alligator. Hello. JX2. Oh shit, my nose. I just tried to do like a little cheeky nose exhale sort of thing, but it's cold in my room apparently. So yeah, I guess class has been kicking my ass, but howdy. Hi. I've been kicking my ass. How's the it going? I mean, oh no, wait. Fuck, because I adjust. Oh no, wait, the window size is still the same. Okay. It's going. It's going. It's going. It's like, imagine yourself, starting something that's gonna take up maybe an hour and a half that isn't really, going to get the result you want, and it's more or less guaranteed it's not gonna get the result you want. But you still do it anyway, and you're gonna do it again. Not because you kind of feel you have to. Some part of you still wants to do it. I'm in a very weird scenario, is how it's going, but I power through because I don't really power through. I'm not like trudging along. I'm just like, yeah, I'll do it, whatever. Just to get it over with, and people who watch the VODs will appreciate it. There aren't many, but there are a few, and those few are, I guess, the real ones. So it's for the real ones. It's for the People who are down for that deep cut. Let me exit all this bullshit. Fucking. I need all the processing power I can get. Well, I'll keep Discord open in case somebody is like, hey, check Discord and something funny. I don't know. Is this even the right fucking FLP? Drop 2. Wait, I just need to see something. Oh. Oh. Okay, well, I'm glad I opened it because this is not the right FLP. I sometimes make like, if you're an FL Studio user, I don't know if there are any FL users even in here. There's a command to duplicate things, Control B, which is conveniently next to a command, Control N, which makes a duplicate version of your project and puts like an _2 or 3 or 4. And then anytime you Control S to save, it'll save to that version. So you'll be looking through your files later, like, is it this one or is it this one _2? Whatever. On a test around 3 is hard. Yeah, good luck. I hope you sleep well. Okay. You found it. Damn, I should have used this for the thumbnail. It looks way crazier. God fucking damn it. Look at this shit. Because I collapsed this for the thumbnail to take the screenshot, and I'm like, huh, this is smaller than I remember it. But there's a reason for that. It's because I opened the wrong FLP, and I didn't realize until just now. Look, it doesn't even fit. That's what I'm talking about. That's the real size of and magnitude of this whole ordeal. But it's really just because there's so many different sections and I use like 1 track per sound. And so there's just a lot of sounds in this project. And also there are tracks dedicated to automation clips, so if there's a section that has a lot of automation happening, then there's a lot more tracks for that section. But all this yellow here, those are all vocal tracks. You know, all the actual tracks that contain audio are either like the color of the group they're a part of, or they're just gray. And the automation clips are like automation color, like these pale colors. Not bad. All right, well, it's time to break this down. I had this one leak, this Ericadoa leak, I guess. It was a leak, I don't even know, called Mascot, in like my Spotify or something. I was, it was posted to Spotify, I found it. Oh yeah, I maxed out the amount of tracks in this project. It's fucked up. Jesus Christ. And I'm like, oh, I really like this song, it's good. I've kind of always wanted to do something with it, but then, recently I'm like, yeah, I could actually do something with it. I sound ill, am I okay? Well, I'm a little congested, but, like, I'm not, like, ill. I'm more just, like, tired. And, like, I kind of, like, not that I don't care for this, but I know, like, I just know fucking, like, no one's gonna watch it. Not no one, but relatively, Like, relatively, it's very, very small scale. It's not exactly helping push any music. It's more for any of those who give a shit. But whatever. And Biggie Boy with the grape emoji, the fruits. Yeah, I had the thing on loop and it sounded cool. I wanted to make a song with it, and so I ended up doing a drop, and then I did a second drop that I liked so much I did it twice, back to back. Just kind of kept it going, and then Roxa, I'm pretty sure, gave me the idea to do like fucking hyper bounce. I'm just like, I don't hyper bounce, why? And then I did like a hyper bounce-esque section for the second half. I laid out the foundation on stream, and then I did a lot of the grinding off camera. But I'll go over what I did for everything, start to finish, because that is what this is. It's a breakdown of the entire fucking track. And this was a really bad stream to start late because this one's gonna take the longest out of all of them. And I don't have any caffeine, and I didn't take any caffeine, and I was gonna go get caffeine, but then I, lost so much track of time doing. I was like eating food, and I was trying to learn how to do a seatbelt pop in Skate 3. If you don't know what it is, look it up, or sometimes called a crail pop as well. I was doing so much random bullshit. Hi, Avis. I started the stream late. I didn't have time to get fucking. That's not how you search for plugins. Name meters. Didn't have time to get any like coffee or anything, so I'm just fucking like tired. And I have to break down the longest song in the EP. It has the most amount of drops, 3 as opposed to 2. And I maxed out the amount of tracks you can use in that file. I have to start consolidating a lot of stuff. Mascot's your fave? I'm glad. It's the least played on the entire EP for some reason. It's also my favorite, just because of the swag, and I just think this goes hard in this whole second drop. And it escalates. It really does look like, because this is like my like drop number 3 in terms of my favorite drops, drop number 2 in terms of my favorite drops, and like fucking what the hell, like my favorite part ever. But it's not like this is bad, you know? It kind of sets the tone. Tyler got nominated for 6 Grammys. Hell yeah. As it should be. Alright, okay, well, it's breakdown time, which means it's listen time. So, you know, if you heard it a million times, get ready for 1,000,001. Please like this stream. I'm begging.
Yeah, you ain't getting money for this back talk. Yeah, I'm not fucking with some man, see a mascot. Check out, you made a fans on the laptop. Bad bitch, I heard she a bad one. Take a snap. Stay drunk, ain't bad. Stay drunk, ain't bad. Sauce and spice.
I'm just cutting in to say, I guarantee you the second drop will be so laggy it'll be impossible to play, but we'll see when we get there. There's a chance this part's gonna be out of tune. Okay, it's not.
I got a crush.
3 minutes and 28, I think, seconds. Will be broken down now. Minimal. I thought it would lag more, but it didn't, and that's good. I had to do a lot of consolidating while working on it to get it to like not lag as much. Second drop? Do you mean this part, or do you mean like the really long like speed house section? Because that's the second drop. Because this isn't just like an intro. This is a drop. It's just really early. And there's 3 drops in this song. The speed house section. It is like. It is. I want to hear it like played in the club, but it would blow up a speaker. Like, it would cause a lot of lawsuits. But look, let's not get into all of that. I made this left to right. There was no like I made this drop before that drop. None of that shit. Fairly simple. And it started with a fairly simple idea, huh? Let me just like, okay. Sometimes I need to like reset the sidechain. It's weird. Very simple idea. Look, this is the part of the stream where people just kind of stop typing, but this tends to happen, right? So again, I don't really mind. Do I have anything on the global I need to worry about? What's happening here? Oh, the level is kind of going. What the fuck? I'll explain that later. Okay, it's gonna be like clipping a little harder than it should be, but whatever. I do that sometimes. I have an idea for a bridge and I have to set everything up again. But yeah. Yeah, fucking. You've heard this pattern a million times. That's what I thought when I was making it. You know, super uber duper generic fucking. Played these games before as fucking, you know, pattern. But so like a bass that's like. It's very weird what I'm doing here. I'm just like playing 2 signs an octave apart, but like. It's slightly effemed for some reason, and like slightly phase shifted from each other. Or is this even the right? Yeah, this is. What? And for some reason, there's a scream bandpass filter on this, giving it some like high-end ring. This doesn't matter, and. Like, turn this off. Wow. Well, that's just what it sounds like normally. But then it goes through, like, the fucking bass clipper. And then it goes through this. Okay, so... I have this Maximus preset. I went over this last stream. Don't do this. I'm taking the low band. I'm compressing it to shreds, and then like bringing up the post gain, and I'm like making it louder. It's really loud. It starts clipping like crazy in the low end. You hear that? So I just kind of roll that off. So it doesn't really do that. It's the intro. It doesn't need to do all that. And also the way this bass clipper is set up. So it's like most of the things in the entire track, except for like the drums and certain vocals, get put through this. So that includes the bass as well as all the synths and stuff, where like I increase the low end, put it through a clipper, and then decrease it the exact amount I increased it. But the way that I have the curve set up, which is kind of idiotic of me, I could have like done it better. I have a knob for that. It's right here. Nope, it's not that one. Okay, well I can't undo what I just did, so it's cool. Save changes, no. Let me just reopen the whole fucking project. Because it kind of does matter. It'll take a bit. But that basically gives everything a little bit more of a crunch, you know. I don't have to turn the bass itself like way up to get the bass to clip certain things. Because then you end up with a track where certain parts are like really subby when you don't want them to be that subby, but you still want to get like the crunch that you would get from clipping. So you just send more sub into it, you clip it, and then you take the same amount of sub back out, so it evens out. You know, you are, you know, slightly phase shifting the signal by EQing it. You know, but like, whatever. I don't give a shit. Like I'm sending everything into a fucking clipper on the master. Like I could be fucked. Basically, yeah, it's just a clipper. I'll fucking go describe it later. And the important thing is this thing is off right now, actually. So I don't even know why I'm turning it on. Oh, it's off right now. Okay, well, I guess it's supposed to be off for this section. Basically, this is the intro. No clipping. Now this fucking layer, this is, I don't even know, some bullshit. I don't know why it sounds like that. Is that what it actually sounds like? That's what it actually sounds like? What the fuck is this shit? Okay, yeah, it's a saw, but on basic Moog. With unison, but the random's all the way down, so it's just two voices, so there's like a slight stereo. And there's also a sub, at an octave down. There's a slight EQ on the bass and some distortion. And then I filtered it out like crazy. Because it sounds like that, so it's like, now walkie-talkied up, louder, then quieter. I'm sorry? Louder than quieter. Okay. Then sound riser. And then nonlinear filter. And then we bring the high end back in. Or no, we don't. We just leave it like that, actually. Okay, yeah, sure. Alright, yeah, and that's how that was made, apparently. I'm learning a lot along with you all, chat. I think this is the important thing. I'm also learning that I'm not tabbing in and out enough to Mulvad so that chat refreshes on stream. And then there's this layer, which is arguably half the sound. Like, this is mostly like what you hear. And it's literally just some super saws. So it's 2 octaves apart and a fifth. You add a fifth up, 8 voices each. And I think this is ever so slightly more detuned than this one. The higher one being ever so slightly more detuned. The lower one, some distortion, no OTT. I kind of like the natural sound of the saws. And then I cut off a lot of the highs and also high pass it. Slight distortion and some more EQ. I bring the highs back in for some reason. I think I wanted to distort this, I guess, and then just bring it back in, but also bring this back in too, so it just sounds all 1K-ish. Which on its own is a little, like, kind of odd, but it's meant to, like, in context, like... And it works. And it works fine. Turn this back on. Come back here. Turn this back on. Right. And then... fucking add one of these crashes with a delay on it, and then some bullshit ass top melody. All this is going over the fucking... Like, when I'm making a project, this is the first thing I have laid down. I'm like... It's literally called the FLP mascot, for fuck's sake. I think this is the first time I have an idea where I'm like, alright, this is what the intro is going to sound like. And I say bullshit-ass lead stuff, because it kind of is. It sounds nice, but it's just a bunch of fucking notes. but it's some cool stuff going on. So there's like 2 layers, each with 2 layers. So it totals 4 layers. This is like FB 3100. It's like a free fucking synth thing, super modular. You know, look, it's a bunch of knobs, hard to understand. I just use the presets. This is a preset that's like, it's only in the right ear because I'm playing them both at the same time, and I don't know why it's 100% left and right. I'm kind of fucking idiotic for that. I usually never do that, but whatever. Where basically the gimmick is, I'll turn the transgate off. When you hit one note, it re-triggers all the notes, and the release is like crazy long. We got an update for you another time. Fuck off. What the hell? Windows is updating on me, on my other computer. So for this, I just kind of... So I'm essentially just playing a chord. This is serving the function of a chord. And so with that, I treat it like one. I put it in the lead section though, which is pretty funny because it usually serves the function of something. I don't care. So I start off. Well, I don't start off by processing it until I add the fucking harmony. Which is basically just the lower, and it's the same fucking instrument, but... Also, hi XDR, it's mascot time now, and if I go to, oh fuck, okay, if I go back to here, what the fuck, I guess I was like this. Okay, cool. Awesome. Back to where we were. So the sauce, the real sauce I will say, is transgate. I just spam this shit. I just put the mix on half, and then it makes like a nice groove, but it's still sustained, because if it wasn't on half, then it would be like super choppy. Which is not really what I want. You know what I mean? For this. But I guess I do, because I have 2 transgates on it. My fucking dumbass. Alright, cool. But that one's a little stronger, and it has an EQ going into it. And the reason why it's in a patcher? No, actually, no, just so that it... It's like... Why I ended up never using it again. Okay, that's so funny. Normally I'd put it in a patcher if it's like, okay, these 2 effects I want to, you know, take away at the exact same time, if I want to reuse this instrument and all these previous effects, but just not this one to make it sound a certain way for this part. But I'm just not using it again, so like I don't know what the fuck I was thinking. But whatever, and then I just added another fucking layer. If you can hear it, it's this one. Significantly more rhythmic and more fun sounding, but it's just some more fucking notes. So I started off with a bottom layer. Slightly pan left. It's one of these where like it has like the let me turn the I think it's set too high actually. This is wrong. I don't know why it's on coarse pitch. Actually, I'll just undo what the fuck I just did. That's That's so weird. Normally I would just like map it to the octave, but I didn't do that this time. You know, and then the other layer is just like this scale thing. You know, I do this all the time where I'm just kind of like, I draw something once and I'm like, oh, good enough, and just fucking repeat it, you know? But because the chord under it's changing, it's like, I justify it, and it sounds cool, and then all together now. Nice, pretty, fun. The first thing I did, I'm like, okay, this needs to sound good. I was there. Ow, very loud. I know, I'm sorry. Not really, but still. You know what I mean? Like, please like the stream. The Transgate is back at halfway mix because it's saucy, and then I add a delay bank because it comes with a filter for the feedback. And I just put that shit on 3. Actually, I did. I think I put it on 4 and put it on ping pong. Did it crash? Oh, it's just auto-saving. No, it's on 3. It's on 3. Okay. Anyway, EQ it again. I just add that again too for some reason. Nice, it's pretty. And then, you know, it's the intro, right? So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna add the fucking super generic ass. You can't even hear it. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Easy. And then, like, that's an intro. For the most part, like, that's kind of what I had. Sitting around in the track, I just couldn't think of anything else. I will say I forgot to mention, because this project is so big, I literally just missed out when I was scrolling. Oh, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up. That is the, it was like a TikTok song in like 2021. And I just kind of held on to the sample. It's just like in the background, but, you know, adds to it. You can like kind of hear it. It was if I play it, I'm gonna get insta claimed. I'm gonna get insta claimed. I promise you. But I have a remix. Okay, I know a way to play it. I just can't stop IDK. No. Fucking what is it called? Because I'll do it. Meme. Sample. Well, it's a faint. It's like a. These are different songs. No, I would. I definitely would. I don't even have the original song. What? I don't? I don't have the original song. That is insane. Whatever. Well, I don't feel like digging it up. I don't care. Cool. And then I couldn't really think of anything else to do, but the next section came from what I added in this section. And there is a song that my friend played when I was with him in a car. Shout out Quincy. I use his glass breaking sound effect all the time as I crash. You know, it is here. Anyway, he has a pretty cool playlist, and he played his song. Well, this is like sped up and shit. You know what I mean? But there was a part that sounded cool, which is this part. And I like that flow, so I just like kind of, you know, and just kind of just chopped it off of that, you know, and I did some basic ass chops that I ended up using a lot throughout the song, because it just comes in clutch to have those. You know, it just kind of keeps the vibe going. I'm very simple like that with my arrangement, because I'm just kind of very less is more pilled. Like, you know, I'm also just bad at doing anything too fancy and like too complex and choppy, and so I'm just like making sure that whatever I can do, the decisions that I'm able to make, are ones that are effective and, you know, serve to keep the vibe going and to keep the headbang strong. Which is but I mean, it sounds good, you know, like it's a stylism thing. And I guess I'm focusing more on like harder EDM style, because like it's like just what I used to listen to ish, but not really. Like I never really listened to like hard style. Like sometimes. Like I wasn't like religious like that. I was more religious like fucking like electro and shit, but it's weird. It's weird how that works. But in terms of like making it, and like that was just one of the EDM genres I dabbled in like the most. For some reason I just like it was fun to listen to in my own coming from my own computer, like me making it. But whatever. So I figured I'll do like a little like hard style ish sort of. It's not even hard style. It's like whatever the fuck this is. It's like some fucking, it's some shit. Like it's some fucking. It's just some shit. Hi Rayson, welcome to the stream. So the thing with this is I just have to start with making the kick, and that was the thing that took maybe the most amount of time with this drop, is getting it kind of just right and making it not sound super corny. So there's actually a couple of things happening here. Hi Kurt Styles, welcome to the stream. Please hit like. So the things happening are, there's this, which has okay, so let me explain. So let me just play this sound dry really quickly. This is like there it is. This is a hardstyle kick that I made like a while ago. I was just trying to teach myself how to make hardstyle kicks, and I kind of just like stopped for some reason. And I might get back into it, because like it's not terrible. And I made it like from scratch. Kind of. Well, I like if you find like a kick sound, just a normal sounding, super simple, like not like a super processed EDM kick, like a very old school, like it's almost like a sine impulse. You can just use a sine impulse, but it's not quite a sine impulse, and then like use distortion, 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 until you eventually land that would play similar to this, but that's oversimplification. Basically, I have a hardstyle kick, and what I'm doing is I have it set to stretch, and you can see the pitch range is 48. This is because I'm automating the pitch. Like a 909 works. But it's not just distorted 909 kick. There's like certain layers of distortion, and you have to use like asymmetrical distortion, like a plugin. If you're making a hardstyle kick, a plugin like Mistortion, which is a free asymmetrical distortion plugin. And it's kind of like there's like a distortion plugin that's like exclusive to a certain DAW that like is pretty known for making hardstyle kicks. And this is like the poor man's version, but like you can still like get like some pretty good results from it. And like you would pretty much boost it, you would distort the hell out of the sound like normally, then you would EQ it a certain way and then run it through asymmetrical distortion and then EQ it a certain way as well. There's a video on it where some guys in the FL Studio describing the process, where it is like a layered sort of iterative process where you have to go from a normal sound to a distorted sound, and then you would stylistically distort it, which gives it the tonality, the talk, and you start like getting better at like how do I make the tail, give it more room, and like you would divide this, like you have a good enough sound, you divide it up and process it in parts. But that's like a whole other story. I haven't done this in a while, so I'm automating the pitch at the beginning of the sound to kind of make like just a zappier, like sort of just almost like a harder impact. And it gives it more of a talk. It's a very, very rude, like very fucked way to give it a talk. And then I just kind of make that transient way, way harder. And make the tail way shorter. And I think I plan on distorting it later in the chain. But I just give it a clipping amount of bass. I call this the Black Summer. If you know, you know. If you don't, years ago, when this person was a kid, and they were just getting into producing, Australian, some like small-time Australian news network, I don't even know if it was small-time, did like a story on it. It's like, oh, this fucking like something-year-old kid, producer or whatever. His music wasn't like very good at the time. They kind of caught him too early. I'm mesmerized by the fact that he was that young, and not the fact that like I never gave him time to like get good enough. But like there was a clip of him EQing a sound, and he pulls out an EQ. In EQ2, and he just fucking goes like to the max, like as like a B-roll footage. It's just fucking, so like that's been in all the old commentary videos talking about like, oh, this dumbass video, like no hate to the kid, it's just like it was like a BuzzFeed-esque sort of piece where they don't really know much about like making music at all. The people like putting the video together, so it's just like, God, I wonder if that's something he actually does, or if it's like they told him to just like look like he's making music for a B-roll shot. But they also like there is like footage of him like performing live, and like there is a drop where it was his first ever show, but it was kind of a big show, and I swear the people, you cut to the crowd sometimes, looked a little confused. But like one of the, like he was using like harmless presets. Like I'm telling you, like it's not like this guy's not all that, or wasn't, because he was like fucking 10. And there's a drop that went like, and like the bass was the most not on purpose, obviously distorted I had ever heard. Obviously the camera was doing a bit more, but it was like okay, well maybe that EQ wasn't just for show. And so now this is called the Black Summer. And now you know. I wish I could just pull it up, but like it would take me a bit to find it. and I kind of don't care right now, so whatever. And then I distort it, and I'm doing a bunch of weird shit. So let me explain. I'm pretty sure this is meant to be like all the way down, but it's not quite all the way down ever for some reason. Like if I do that, for example. Yeah, kind of. Whatever. So I'm doing a little wet dry split with the patchery here. The dry signal, nothing's happening to it, but the wet signal, I'm taking a delay and I'm like just pumping up the wet. It's just a super smeared like reverb impulse that this gives it. I kind of EQ it, low cut it here at around that many hertz, like 400-ish, high cut it at around that many hertz, like 3K. And that's what gives it that sound, that room. And it sounds really cool. And that reverb tail is being kind of processed, because alone it sounds like... Which sounds cool, but it can sound cooler. So I decided to use a frequency shifter for some reason. If anything, I could use that as like a low rumble bass. I wonder what would happen if I doubled down on that. Hold on. Curiosity killed the cat, and I'm a cat girl, so... No, that's the wrong band. Oh shit. Like, hello? Okay, wait, no, stop. Alright. Anyway. Then I took that and I bit crushed it. Sounds cool. And I took that and then I EQ'd it. Because I didn't want to use it for bass because I was using something else for bass. And then I took that and I and then I clipped it, I guess. Oh, I'm making it a little louder. That's what I'm doing. Okay, cool. And then that's the kick. Took a bit of time to get that, but there's more to it. It's subtle here, but there's another layer. It's just I'm taking a bunch of oscillators that are for some reason like this. This is actually, oscillator B is not doing anything. You can forget about it. I'm taking the level of oscillator 1 and I'm doing this to it, as well as automating the chorus pitch. Oh no, oscillator B is being leveled by this one for some reason, so there's like two separate layers, both at different pitches, with the random all the way up for some reason. God, this is so fucked, and the distortion's up. I have no idea what the hell I'm doing here. Interesting. That's all I'm gonna say. You can discern that for yourself. I showed you what was there. Just interesting. Now that layer isn't really doing anything at that point. You know, a little reverse kick. Something sounds fucked. Cool. Now it's for the second half when the rides come in. Whenever you hear that like kind of spooky quality from the reverb tail of the kick, it's because of this kick roll that isn't pitched. You know, but whatever. So for this section, it's going all crazy. You know, all that. Nothing out of the ordinary, but that's just kind of like a very small part of the fucking drop. Obviously, it's just the damn drum. It's just the damn drums. It's bass time now, though. All the groove is there. That's all the groove right here. Now here's what I'm doing. That's it. That's all. I'm just chopping the fuck out of it because that would sound cool. I just have a pattern that goes like that. And so this bass, it's kind of weird the way it's being processed. Cause that's what it sounds like raw. It's just this wavetable. With the pitch thing for the attack. Leveling the noise and the actual wavetable like that. And distorting it. And then I'm putting it through this unorthodox ass fucking thing. Oh god, it's auto-saving again. Okay. And then I guess because it's hitting the same note every single time. I just kind of use this fucked EQ. This is bad. Don't do this. And then I put it through Soundgeyser for some reason. And then I'm doing something with the P controller. I just don't know what. I'll figure it out. And then the bass clipper, you know, changes it ever so slightly. Which is always like an unintentional like byproduct. But then there's like another layer that I have here. You know, just another one of those 2 octave apart, fifth sort of saw things. But this one's a bit more filtered than the other one, which would be like this whole distorted ass thing. This one's just, it's simpler, but it sounds a bit more filtered. Super choppy, has a lot of impact. It's nice. And if I'm correct, there are hit markers down here. There are not. It was so good, I didn't even need to use any fucking hit markers. Normally I do if something doesn't sound choppy enough, but what's crazy is it's literally just the vocals. And that is the entire drop. It's bass, drums, and vocals, and like maybe a sound effect here and there. Okay, well I lied. There's a little bit of this going on in the second half, but that's one sound. This fill is just the same. You know, I use that shit all the fucking time. There's a lot of recycling in this track, but we'll get to it. For the second half, to introduce the second half, I have underscores. Yeah, good song. I've always wanted to use that for a fill, and just that song in general. So, I have this going all like
And it stops and starts and it stops and starts.
You know. And the delay gets louder here. So it just sounds like it's 4 on the floor. Filtering in this thing the entire time. The Asquin vocal, super nice. But also the entire time I want to explain this little layer that I have going on here. It's just another one of those samples I have laying around. Is it just called that? I think I used it in the last track as well. Whatever. I'm also doing a little LFO toolage. Just doing nothing. That's funny. Oh no, it does something later. I'm stupid. Whatever. So. No wait. So. It's time for this section now. It's this section, but it's different. So I am now doing what I like to call it's the Sam Waitin, but this is the house classic. It's because I went on a little bit of a binge on some Sam Waitin. If anyone here knows who Sam Waitin is, and I'm just like. It's like not even the right bass. But where's the delay coming from? Oh. Whatever. But it's literally just that, the drums and the vocals. Okay, I lied on my teeth. Because if it was, then it would sound like this. And I'm like, okay, it's a little empty, you know. I'm using the chops from earlier, but I kind of added a patcher preset to make them a little quieter. And then also from earlier, I'm using the same fucking melody thing, and I decided to add this basically throughout the entire drop until the breakdown for the third. And for the entire breakdown, for the entirety of drop 2, and then yeah, it's yeah, it's very simple. I guess I'll show you what this bass is. Very simple FM bass. The oscillator B is an octave and a fifth above oscillator A, and I'm FMing it none, I think, actually. So never mind, it's not FM bass at all. It's just slightly distorted, and then I added this white noise convolver thing, which like just gives it stereo. And also tone. Like you can hear it in the mono signal, but like the mono signal is all fucked. It's cool. I like it. And then this I was trying to nail that sound for so long. That's not even like what the sound is. It's just like I just kind of shut up. This is like a different version of the same thing, but it's 2 octaves and a fifth up instead. But the processing is basically the same, except with I think slightly different like EQing. It has a high pass on and after everything. But it also has a sound geyser at the same setting and a convolver at the same setting, so. Cool. Shut the fuck up, please. And here I add the I'll do it synth. I add back this fucking pad that won't shut the fuck up. You know. You can barely even hear that. Your attention is only drawn to this one. So, at the end of the day, this doesn't even matter. But that's there. Glass break. And then I start fading in this 2 Hollis vocal, or rather filtering it in. And that's it. I just start filtering that 2 Hollis vocal. Oh, and the break, yes. Cool. That sounds nice. That little. Oh, it's auto-saving again. Hold on. Alright. Okay. This break, it's a nice break. So I'm doing this thing again. I do this shit all the time. I think in literally every single track, I think there's a break in every track to some degree, and to some degree I use this Maximus thing. It's not even a preset that I make. I do it every single time from scratch, because I guess every break is different, so. Okay, that lag is not consistent. Okay, but whatever, it's fine. So, I just kind of make it sound a little choppier. That's it, and then I EQ'd it slightly. Okay, that's it. It's dropped 2 times now. This starts. Right. So this was one of those ideas that like I wrote down like days in advance, like knowing like I have to try this. It's probably gonna be fire. Where I just have to use Crush, you know. I was gonna have like a 4 on the floor stomp, chop, and then laser reverse kick sort of thing. But I decided to do just the vocal and like cut the volume before everything dropped. Like really. Because it just like kind of sounded cooler in my mind. It's a little rudimentary, it's a little simple, but it gets the job done and it gets it done nicely. IMO. I'm adding in like a delay. You know, I do that shit all the time. Whatever. What you're really here for is everything else, because that part we can get to. It's drum time. I don't even know where the hell I found this kick. So with kicks like this, to really beef them up, that's a nice soft kick. I'd love to use that in like a UKG track or something. Well, I got it from UKG pack, so I'd fucking hope so. I first put a transient shaper on it at like max speed for it to affect literally only the transient. So it gives it that click in the beginning. So it's already a nicer, like clickier kick for the application. And this one I put the speed on a little slower to kind of affect a larger range of the waveform. Like instead of like this much, maybe like this much. And it kind of squares all this off as opposed to leaving it like a sub. So it gives that like distorted sound. And then I just cut some 300 from it. And yes, it is like doing some weird phase shifting, I understand, but like I kind of don't care. Hi Lodrix, welcome to the stream. I'm currently breaking down Mascot, and we just got to drop 2. How much more simple can it get? And I'm not sidechaining my rides either. And I use like a couple of different rides, you know, to keep the vibe going. I'll do that like high, like that open hat thing. You layer different open hats on whenever you want it to go crazier. Feels like a GD music. Awesome. And then the drums just loop. They do the exact same thing I did the first time. They developed in the exact same way. It's bass time now. Awesome. So let's break this down now. So I think this is the sub layer. I think I'm using the exact same bass. I'm using the same exact basses, or the same sub bass as the intro. Because it goes hard. It's good. And serves its purpose. As far as all the other layers though, these are all like I don't even fucking know. I don't know how to explain it, but I'll try. So, I like using French low pass a lot. I think I just cranked the drive all the way up and put this thing to this place. Basic mini and basic moog at 2 octaves and a fifth apart. Ran them all the way down. Obviously, the phase like this for the specific overtones. A little bit of FMing from B. And this is the volume animation just for these 2 oscillators. I'm distorting it and adding OTT. And then just that sounds like, you know, kind of like nothing. It's like good, but it can be better, right? So EQ. Take away all the 300, and then I clip it. And then I add all of the sauce right here. The white noise fucking... the white noise stereo trick with the convolver. I distort it even more. Then I EQ it. And then I mid-side compress it. And this, I think, is literally just a saw that's 2 octaves and a fifth apart, and that's it, with a sound goodizer on it. That seeks only to add a layer to everything. I'm also adding this. The fifth bass. It's kind of, it's like you can like barely make it out in the full mix. You know, but like barely. But it serves its spot. And the bass is just looping and doing that. But in the second half, as opposed to just like the 1 octave of that fifth bass from the breakdown playing, it's the 2 octaves. And then it loops. Cool. So I'm also adding on the Apple thing. You know, and I think I added some piano. No, it's some saw. Just a little bit of saw. Just nice 1 chord, you know, 5 notes total. And you can hear how much work that bass clipper is doing already, because without it, there would not be as much crunch. Oh damn, wait, this is just distorted as fuck. You can barely tell the difference because of it. That's interesting. Okay, never mind. Wow, I didn't realize it was mixed that way. Okay, well, point not proven. And for the second half, I add the I'll Do It ARP. You can notice it's very loud there because it's meant to like kind of sit alongside acapellas. Which, speaking of which, I will, fuck me, is it auto-saving? It's auto-saving. I will come down and, enable right now. So I started off simple with, the 2 hollows vocal, you know, but for right before I approached the second half, I had like, you can't hear it, but I do it. And then it goes crazy, and then it just explodes. You know, use this fill. I'm spamming this fill in the whole track because that's just the vibe, right? And then just this, you know, whatever. Off Ropic. Sorry, I had to read it like that because I thought it would sound funny, and it does. Off Ropic. Yeah, off topic, but I've seen that weird chair live stream. If not, search up Alex Smith chair stream. I don't think I will, but thank you for letting me know. I really do appreciate that. And also thank you. Please hit a like on the stream before you scurry off if you do choose to do so, because I am merely breaking down this thing. I keep seeing it appear recommended. I'm confused. Oh boy. But whatever. Spam this fill, and then I'm using the Skate Star. That's the artist for this song, an intro. I'm using the Skate Star acapella. I'm using the which is already nice, but in the forefront is the Osquin vocal, which is just oh wait. And I'm playing like the LFO tool on this part because it just sounds way cooler if it's a little choppier. Oh, fuck off. You know? And it literally just loops, but with the I'll do it loop instead. And in the second half, I'm automating a ring mod on the Osquin vocals. Awesome. And now it's time for the breakdown before the third drop. Isn't this fun? And yeah, this is just give me everything. Pretty sure it's not, it doesn't say it, but it's featuring Usher. Come on, pretty sure it's Usher. Don't butcher this. You know. Very subtle, but I'm also layering it with the skate star vocal. You know what I mean? Super cool. Simple, add a nice little Reese underneath everything. Saw 2 octaves apart, low pass, unison, distortion, and some more EQ, and some compression. And that's the whole Reese. You can add some reverb too, add some flavor. I chose not to. For some reason, I don't know. I love doing that like that delay crash sort of thing. It's such a classic sort of sound. And then I figured I should decorate it, so I decorated it with the I'll do it ARP, but I just reverberated it. You can hear it, it's like washed out. And I use this sound a lot just because it's nice to have a chord that's super sustained. It's weird, the limiter's on this section. I don't think it's supposed to be on this section. No, it's not. It kind of sounds like I'm filtering in the 5th bass, but I'm really not. You know, added a little snare at the end to kind of cut the vibe entirely. Because I do want this section to not lead into like a more hype section. I want it to like really just switch up. So that's what that like snare is meant to do. Just kind of cut it. You know, during this, I'm just playing the vocal. A lot of processing happening. I can't stay for too long because there's something like generally wrong with me right now. Okay, well I hope that you get. I can't say. I don't want to say get well soon because then that means that kind of sounds like I'm talking about you as if you have like the common cold or something. And I'm pretty sure it's more severe than that. But yeah, I hope you get well soon. Just fucking cry. I don't know what to say. I'm sorry. But I do care. Trust. So I found a pretty clean rip. I just have to keep going. So I found a pretty clean rip of this vocal, which allows me to like take this choir section and just kind of let it ring. sounds super nice. I hope I don't get claimed for that though. No, it's like a terrible pain, very terrible pain. Oh fuck. And I'd imagine the Tylenols aren't working. Or the morphine or whatever the fuck they're giving you. Well damn. I also, as well as the Skate Star vocals. These are the Skate Star vocals I was looking at the whole time. These are the Usher vocals. But anyway, I'm also filtering in the Oscar vocals too because I'm just like, might as well make you think it's going somewhere like that. Before abruptly cutting the vibe with the snare. Very simple breakdown section. I just needed to like put something after the drop, you know, to tone it down. But now there's this section. So I figured I should just use this fucking sound. Which, do I have the game? Stick RPG to Director's Cut v1.0.exe. That's it. If you booted up a game from XGen Studios, which was like a website, as well as like a publishing sort of place, I'm pretty sure, it would have that sound. And so I just use that all the time. And I know that there are not many people watching, but for those who caught that, now you know. And, you know, for the VOD watchers, you're also real. So this is very long sounds that I got from making like iOS 17 alarm. My favorite part here. I mean, honestly, mine too. I can't lie. I cooked. So, where is it? Can I find the original sound file that I worked on? Apple Gotta Stop sample. Is it here? Is it here? Oh, it's probably gonna be on my computer, obviously. Stop sample. So this is a thing I just had like lying around on my computer from when I sampled that. But I put like a gross beat preset on it, which made it like have like a crazy groove, and I like bit crushed it and like put like a gate, like, you know. And so like I wanted to make like a groove sort of thing with that. Can I just enable? Oh god, it's gonna have like a bunch of effects and shit on it. I don't want to go over all the effects and shit. Or even that's already like way more than I want to like show. I just kind of like cut it up where it went dun 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 dun. But it wasn't quite stretched onto the beat, right? But then I took that and ran it through a bunch of granular plugins, and just ran it through those plugins for a very long time, and eventually got this very long audio file that's like just a bunch of shit. You know, lots of nice little things. And so I'm just kind of like, EQ, compression, reverb, No, I guess this is like delay. This is actual reverb, and I'm cutting out. I'm just fading in and out the odd fucking volume every now and then. Oh. There we go. Super nice. Then I put a pad under it. Just a nice little... Basically a bunch of effects doing nothing. This is just a balance for the balance, and I have this frequency shifter because I make it into a riser. Because if you have a frequency shifter on half mix and ever so slightly adjust the frequency shift, it like makes a... that sort of sound, which is super cool. And I wanted to use like a different sort of reese than the reese I was used here. So this reese has completely different overtones because I'm using mainly like square sounding waves, so it has odd harmonics. As they would say. Low passed, 2 octaves apart, no fifth this time, slight distortion. EQing like that, lots of reverb on the high end to give it that room. And this is here for some reason. And then I increased the dry of that distortion so that it like clips into everything. And I add one of these because I did this like in some super old like color based track that I made when I was worse at producing. This exact style of like ambiance. Not a super complex sound, just saw like it has like a pretty cool sounding wavetable, and I just, you know, filter sweeped it and then added distortion with the sub, so the sub could distort it. And just a crazy amount of reverb. And this section, I guess that's the original flow. With some of the effects out of it. It's like a rendered version of the drop that I had after some effects, but then I'd like put just frequency shifter on it, you know, made it like the walkie-talkie sort of effect and like, you know, washed it out. You know. And then I added this is a loop from the same color-based track that I got this idea from. Like I did that exact same thing in the track, like a fucking color base. Is it called color blind? Base, what? No, IDK. No, don't give me the fucking stems. I don't give a shit about the stems. Colorblind final also, whatever. that the same exact thing here. And then like I fade in like what would be the drop sound design. I do the same thing here, but you know, I didn't release that track, so I get to do it again, but better. And everything's rising. I think there's an actual riser added. And then I add this like which you can make at home very easily. Basically, I don't know why I don't have this already set to a preset, but I'm a fucking idiot. So, LFO1 is controlling the chorus pitch, and it's on trigger, I guess. I'm just holding the note out. And it's on like a free-forming rate that does increase over time. But either with an automation clip or, you know, whatever you want. And also the pitch of the oscillator increases over time as well. While this is like doing the bubble motion, that slowly increases the pitch of it overall. It gives it more of a risiness sort of sound. I got a crush. No. There's one last thing I want to go over, and it's I know mastering is like last, but for this section I should mention that I have a limiter being turned on. Because I don't want this section to redline. So, in the grand scheme of the overall track, it's like -10, -9 LUFS. It's quiet. Like, legitimately quiet. But it's dynamic, because then I got a crush. It fucking explodes. You know, it's great. I love it. And so I keep a limiter on there, and I mix that part in a way where it's not attacking the limiter too hard. You know, one of the few times I'll use a limiter, like ever, and it's in this track. You know, like it's not going super crazy. Just some saturation, mainly. And all the things that would enter this are being like clipped off. Or just very quiet anyway. I got a crush. And like that part can compress, you know, the super, like the end of the part that gets super loud. It can get a little hot in the compression or in the limiting. I mean, I think it has permission to do so. You know, it's just it feels crazy anyway. Like you're not really focused on that. But now it's time for everyone's favorite part, including mine. Crush. Fucking nuts. There's a lot going on. Genuinely. It's one of the few times where I'm actually like, there is a lot going on legitimately. So I knew that I wanted to, let me talk about the drop one half at a time. Let me talk about this half first. I wanted to do this sort of drum style. What the? Something wrong. There we go. Yeah, but like one of those, like... You know, kind of ahead of the groove, ahead of like where the grid is at, sort of to add some swing or whatever. And I knew that was gonna be like a okay, I'm not gonna play that yet, because that's some shit that I added later that like literally added everything to the track. You know, duh. That's what it starts from. You know, like a flow that's not exactly like it's slower than triplet for slower than like the BPM of the song, literally. But like it has that groove. I won't go into have to yet. Have to have some fancy. You know, I will. Maybe if I include have to in explanation, we'll have bitten off more than we can chew. But I just want to get this over with. Have to I just slightly change the snare sometimes. So for the double, I let the second part of the double be the new snare. And I changed the bass too. It's like instead of it's like a saw bass. It is. It's just a saw bass with mad sub. That's it. Whereas this is, I think, literally just a sub bass. Basically, just a sub bass. Barely even distorted. Just clean, fat sub. But this is distorted, fat sub. And I only use that snare for one part. And then I go back. But then I do it again. And then I go back. For that second half. Just a little bit of variation. So now here comes all this. There's a lot of like crazy automation shit going on. So let me turn off all the effects first. So I'm literally just just over and over, but I would mute certain sections of it. But you hear that like ringiness of it. That's caused from I was taking the sound and I had a spectral gate. And I was just dragging the knob up and down and letting it play over and over. And I took what I liked and rendered it out. Because if I kept the spectral gate in this project, I think it would explode every single time I tried to open it. And then I would keep it on stretch and I would automate the pitch. Now it's on resample because it has to be. And I also use the plugin. No, I think what I did is I used a plugin called Freeform Phase, which is kind of different, but allows me to do some other cooler shit. Freeform Phase, where basically you can control the phase of the frequencies as they kind of pass through them. So like, you know, this being the degree of phase. Whereas like 360 is it loops back around to just kind of being, you know, whatever. And this is where on the frequency spectrum it lies. You know, so I was doing a thing where like this was more out of phase than like all this stuff. So, or maybe it was the other way around. I think it was the other way around. I'm pretty sure it was the other way around, where like the lower stuff was like really out of phase and like crazy, like that, and like this was like less like that. Which gives it that like high, like weird, like smeariness. You know. I decide though that I'm also gonna do a lot of weird processing to this. Like there's a little bit of like weird like choppiness now to it. It's so subtle. Because I'm like, you know, like slightly automating your frequency shifter up and down. And the mix level changes to have to be at a higher mix level for the second half. Which sounds like almost wet. It's so weird. But like whatever. So I EQ it, and then I compress, do all my general processing, single band, multi-band, bit crush, EQ, DS. It's just subtle for this, and then I make it louder. And then I EQ it again. Cool. And then this is where all the money's made. Is I'm using Effector's delay, but I am... Actually, hold on, let me turn this off. That's why you get some of those like echoes, like there, for example. I think I like have like some of the knobs controlled in such a way where it's like a super fast echo, because otherwise it would be like a, which sounds cool. Like that sounds cool, but I kind of wanted like a faster one. Not there. You know. And like I'm like sweeping in and out the reverb. Like for things like that, you know. And it interacts with the drums nicely when I do it like that. You know. And that's it for that layer. You know, I add a nice little... Literally just exactly what it sounds like. It's a fucking 3x oscillator. And I have the polyphonic pitch bend on so that I can do this fucking cheeky shit. Kind of didn't need to. I could have just, you know, set the range on this to be bigger than it is, and just use this automation clip instead, but I want it to be fancy. But yeah, the colors do that. Fucking, like, there's an Auden video where he did that. It was a cook up with him and someone else. Thought it was a guy, but it also does that. Okay. Yeah, but it's only for like if you can. I think there is a plugin being worked on which allows you to use FL as a pitch bend in like other VSTs that don't normally support it. But I don't know if that first of all, I don't know how well that works. Second of all, I don't know if that works with the colors and polyphonic pitch bend. Because if it does, then that changes the game for Serum and like making leads, you know, because I have a certain lead in Serum that requires 3 serums if I want to do a 3-note chord. But like, you know, it's a whole other thing. But whatever. So I'm doing that little thing. And then I figured that, okay, this really needs, I know what that sustained bass note is for. That sustained bass note is not just for show. It's not just, you know, bass. That bass is there to clip something. And it's sauce time now. Boom. That already adds so much. Let me turn this off. You know. Nice. And it's basically serious saw. You know, it's the same sort of deal. I do this shit all the time. You know, So like sound number uno. I swear I heard the detune go off on a part for a second. It might be you. But what's it called? So saw number uno is a very standard super saw. It's super and it's saw. And there's no OTT. And it gets EQ'd like a this with some more gain. Gets clipped to shreds and it gets EQ'd like a this. You know, no high ends, no 300, all that nice fat low mid, and all this mid fucking sort of like sounds like a crowd screaming. And then there's this one. Okay, and then it gets EQ'd like a this, clipped to shreds, and then EQ'd like a that. For some reason, I'm not high passing it here. I think it's because I know I'm gonna high pass it there. But whatever. Fuck. Please stop auto saving randomly. I mean, it's a nice feature to have, I guess, but still, this is two saws octave apart, random all the way down, phase adjusted for the overtones that I actually want. And it goes into here, which is an EQ and then another EQ. Because I guess these saws also go into that too, which is great. So the second EQ gets automated in for the second drop. So I'm adding a couple of things. So I'm adding like some bits and pieces from the mud pie, just a little chop, and just a little like random ass. You know, and little. That's what that little hit is. From Minecraft. You know, and I'm like, wow, this sounds crazy. And then it's time to really like fill in those gaps with the things that I want. Ooh. Oh, funky. You know, this is some like producer fucking like some one of those like beat makers that enters contests sort of leads. You know. I don't know what it is about it that like gives it that quality to me, but yeah. Simple as saw. And as simple as saw it is. I think it's so simple. No, I'm not using 3x oscillator, never mind. The fucking random is on. Okay, awesome. Distortion is on and it's doing absolutely nothing. Wait, is it doing nothing? Yes, it is. There's nothing fucking routed to it. Okay, whatever. Right, and then so I have the mod wheel fucking automating up for the vibrato. You know. And then IQ iPass, I add a delay, which adds that, you know, quality to it. The little rings. A delay for that little reverb. I guess it's clipping. And then rolling off some of the high end because I really don't need all that. And a bit of compression apparently. but it's not doing anything. I guess it's for this part. Yeah, it's for that. Yeah, whatever. That's that lead. Very simple. And I have a reverb tail going before it. That obviously cannot be normal. I'm pitching it up a little bit because if, you know, like that sounds like this sounds fine. On. Like that sounds cool, but then we add like a. That's more saucy. And then we add this wave shaper, which is basically acting as a ghetto noise gate at like it's like a noise gate at 0 attack, 0 release, 0 everything, and a bit of distortion on the sound that does make it through. It's more sauce. It's more sauce. And just EQ it. Oh shit, oh no. That's not supposed to be there. You know, I add some distortion for this part, let it ring out a little longer. P.S. I don't know where I found this sound. It's somewhere. Just kind of had them somewhere. Whatever. Anyway. The drop's starting to sound good. Everything's coming together. But I'm like, I can't help but think it needs more choppiness. And so I find this. Which is like crazy. Fuck, it's hard. And by find, I mean make, you know. And by make, I mean, you know. So this thing is basically one day I was drunk and I took a song that I made and just spammed effector presets through it and called it a mud pie, but I wanted to distinguish that I was drunk while I was making it, so I called it a drunk pie. So that's what that is. And it's basically like, this is something I learned to do like a week before Serum 2 came out, but I still do it on Serum 1 because it's different, you know. So I'm basically taking a sample, putting it through noise, and setting the phase of the sample to be automated with the note parameter. So each part of the key, you know, does something different. And all this stuff is like all like phasey stuff, so it has all that like, you know, all that good shit. And so I just kind of like literally like use FL's random and tried to come up with a bunch of shit, and I just like stuck with what the stuff that like the clusters that sounded good, I just, you know, repeated for legitimacy. So if this happens twice, it sounds like it's been done on purpose. And then there's that little thing. Yeah. And then there's this fill, which like practically saves the whole track. And it saves the whole track because Without it, there's nothing there. I didn't have a fill idea, but that literally saved my ass. You know, and it adds a bit of like texture too to the chords. Which is nice. I could always use a bit more texture. And then I put the sound effects in. You know, there's an exhaust. Those are the only sound effects that are playing the entire time. And the rest is literally just acapella. Ish, but not really. Like, I do that crush thing for on the floor, but like, only there.
I got a crush.
Most of it is instrumental though, which is nice.
I got a crush.
This part is crazy though. I just spammed the effects until I found something good. I will say I'm just looping that crush thing. I'm doing the same exact thing but twice. It's auto-saving again. The sound design in the second half is not changing that much, just like ever so slight changes in like the fills I use, you know, and that one snare changes all the difference. So this shit is like, basically I just added the mascot vocal in and I just started slicing, you know. Initially it was just all in there, but then I'm like, oh, when the chord plays I have to do this sort of thing. Let me turn all this shit off. Or turn this off. And I like chop the fucking with to match the, you know. A lot of little stupid ass chops. You know. And then I added a bunch of stuff in this patcher preset here. Not by a bunch, not really. I added a frequency shifter, I added the bit crusher, and then I added a delay. So the frequency shifter and the bit crush automate in, you know, to create the little pitch bend effect, and then I have the delay ringing out here. You know, and that completes that drop. You know, just adds all the choppiness to the second half, enough variation. You know, your focus is shifted. You know, and the moments that you do have to breathe, which would be the fills, are a little different than they were the last time. So it's like, it's nice and fresh. And then it just kind of cuts, and we're back here. So for this section, I got really lazy. I just added the same Reese that I did in the breakdown, the second part of the breakdown. You know, but I just used the part of the automation clip where it's already starting to distort. The same fucking piano sustain note that I have leading into the outro and that should post. I'm using a part of the mud pie that is like devolving, so I don't have to use any automation clips to make it expand more. It's just doing it for me. You know, which is great. And then I just play the outro fucking audio file. Which is like a shitpost song that my friend made. I think I was over at his house when he made this. This is early in our inception, and like shout out Quincy. Early in our inception and just like making music. FL music, yeah. Not when we were like SoundCloud rappers. But on the side we would just like make like meme shit, and this is like just an inside joke. For some reason. And we just rendered it on like 2-bit rate, so I just have it on my computer, and it is the outro now. And yeah, well, that is, I think this is one of my biggest projects, next to like You're My Star 2, the 19.311 megabyte fucking sort of thing. But like, yeah, I mean, that's a big fucking project, and there's a good amount going on, but I went over all of it. I went over all of it. That's it. I would assume there aren't any questions because of how extensive the coverage was. Because holy fuck, that project is huge. It's just there's so much shit. There's so much shit. All right. Is this thing on? How many of you survived? How many of you survived the breakdown? How many kept the tab open while they were doing something in the background, which is usually like the people who survive. I know Kirby's ass survived. Kirby's ass is an OG survivor. Kirby's ass usually survives, which is always great. And look, if you can't get to your keyboard in time to say that you survived, that's all right, because you can always tell me that on Thursday when I break down another contender for my favorite track, because of just how fun it is to listen to and how crazy it is. Purgatory, Thursday midnight. I'm breaking that one down. It's going to be a fun one, I hope. Probably not a fun stream for the viewer, but fun for me to break down because I like explaining things. Wait, you know what I just realized? If you didn't leave yet, good. If you didn't leave yet, good. Don't, please. I'm so serious. I forgot to tell you. This is a secret for those who stayed. I bamboozled the fake ones. The real ones remain. I forgot to tell you, the master. I'm doing the same gain thing where in the build-up it gets a little quieter before the actual drop. And like, if you focus really hard, you can notice it, but that's just so the drops not only feel louder, but are louder than the build-ups. And I do it here, and I do it here. Super cool. The bass clipper is off in the intro, because if it was on, it would clip too hard. Oops. Or have too much grit, rather. I don't want it to have as much grits. And then, so I wanted to do a thing where the limiter, the way the limiter like automated in was very weird, so I had to like automate the ceiling separately from the mix knob of it. But I just literally put that in the middle of the track for that section. It's all going into a clipper, which has all my loudness information, which hopefully I'm not using. I should be using this loudness meter, not that one. It's all going into utility, which helps to mitigate some of the DC frequencies. Then it goes into a clipper and an loudness meter, and then I monitor with this span and this LFO tool. Okay. All right, you can go now. Awesome. I'll see you on Thursday at midnight. Do you want my Discord server, please? Okay. Good night now.